So deshitification is a call to arms. It's one that says, if you really want to empower this industry for the respect that you all spend days and hours in the pub moaning that you don't have, I was just having a conversation with somebody just now, talking about the lowering of respect, the lowering with fees that the design industry, the real estate industry is facing. This is why. Because what you've inadvertently delivered is a space that is less effective than the spaces that were around 20 years ago from a workplace productivity perspective. Harsh, not all spaces, but that's what we're trying to encourage. A sense of, let's go back to basics. And with the advent of AI, concentrative work is back on the agenda, because what's left after AI takes away all the mundane is tough stuff, is deep concentrative stuff. And that's what the workplace has to support. So as Alison said, we've got 3 friends that we're going to put on the spot to help us work out how the hell we're going to deshitify workplace experience. So.
Thanks, Tim. Let's turn it over to the panel. Maybe a round of introductions, please. And what's your workplace pet hate?
Thanks, Alison. Morning, everybody. My name's Mike Povey. So I'm lucky enough to be the VP of Corporate Services for Visa here in Europe. My team are responsible for pretty much everything that's corporate real estate. So everything from real estate lease and transaction management, through to FM, through to workplace, through to physical security at the back end of that. So the whole life cycle of a building. I've been with the company for about 5.5 years now, so I'm a pandemial, as we call them in the company, which was interesting. So I showed up in the company on November the 20th, 2020, picked up my laptop on day one and never saw a Visa building for 6 months after that. So as the real estate guy, that was interesting. What's my pet workplace hate? I would burn every executive office to the ground tomorrow if I had an opportunity. They just separate leaders from people, and they separate people from where the real work's happening.
Amazing. Thank you, Mike. Susan.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Suzanne Dixon. I am responsible for real estate for EMEA and APAC at Royal Bank of Canada. I've been in the job for 10 months. Again, in terms of my pet hate, I quite often find these fancy-looking spaces which nobody uses, and that would be something that I would really like to get rid of, because if there's no purpose for these kind of spaces, we don't want them.
Fancy space no one uses. I like it. Awesome. Last but certainly not least, Jamie.
Morning. Jamie Davis, Director of Workplace at Fidelity International. And me and my team, we're responsible for employee experience, close your ears, scale and efficiency. You can open them now. And also the application of technology in our world is becoming quite significant. In terms of pet hate, can't bear coffee-stained carpets, and I can't bear where the decorator has just painted around light switches to tidy up the dirty wall. Just spanks of, we don't care, so why should you?
I like that. Okay. Fantastic. We want to talk a bit about outcomes today because, again, part of workplace deshitification is focusing on those outcomes. Jamie, let's start with you because you just mentioned technology, which I know is a big priority at Fidelity, but for anyone who doesn't know, it's a financial services institution, not a tech company. Talk about, please, if you can, how you guys are using technology to bring people connect in the workplace and bring people together. What are you doing?
So we have for some time now been developing our own workplace app in-house. It's probably worth pointing out the reason we did that straight from the outset was there are solutions out there off the shelf, but they didn't meet our needs. We would have had to change our experiences and our workflows and our needs to match with what was off the shelf. So we made a very conscious decision to do this for ourselves. And it's leading to all sorts of automation. For example, when you book a desk, you don't check in anymore. Your check-in happens when you swipe through the front door. We're working on the experience of coming to the office isn't just about having the same desk next to the same people, and it's always your team. You've got the option to book with a project or actually engage more directly with your network. And we see that as an opportunity to do collaboration over the desk rather than having to take meeting rooms or find people in the office. Other little natty bits that we've got going on, there's a button on there on somebody's contact card. It will instantly review their diary and say, do you know what, they've got 15 minutes spare at 2 o'clock this afternoon, do you want to see them? It's checked their diary, your diary, it's confirming that you're both free, and press of a button, send an invite. So there's dozens of small automations designed to take the pain out of being in the office.
Brilliant. I think the interesting thing there, though, is that upon canvassing the market, you couldn't actually find what you needed. So as financial services, you've repurposed engineering capability to build this yourself. So I think as part of making Workplace better, it's figuring out how can you buy from the market what they should be offering to service providers anyway, or to occupiers.
So I think we got lucky. I say lucky. Obviously, lockdown, everyone went home, and there was groups of people that were wondering what they were going to do. So we got access to some developers who did a phenomenal job. The fact that we've managed to design it to our needs, I can't underestimate it. It is the #1 trending app in Fidelity. It has more use than any other web-based application in the business.
But Jamie, is it fair to say that's because it does 7, 5, 6, however many things, a small number of things, blisteringly well, with a whole load of, if you like, friction removal, deshitification features built into the app? And when you and I first talked about you going to market to find an app, what you found when you went to market is all the app developers are racing around trying to outdo each other with feature ads and plugins and APIs that effectively add so much shit to the operational requirements that it's easier to build one yourself. I mean, what does that say for the app market when a financial services company can build them something that's better than the market can offer them, presumably for less as well, and with significantly greater control?
Yeah, and one of the additional features that we're working on at the moment is gauging employee sentiment. And that's not asking an employee about their opinion every time they come to the office. There's a cadence to that. It's not the same question every time. And you build up the intelligence over time by asking maybe 6 or 7, 10 questions a year. And they're incredibly short, incredibly brief, and simple to answer.